best way to do this.
Okay, yeah,
And then we have our video catalog too, which is also available, and it's on YouTube. So it's more the
yeah,
same we had tonight.
and then you can look at the catalog that's on there, and then they're all in zip files in the files tab in the two Facebook groups. So no matter what, you can grab any of the apps you want. Those apps that
Excellent.
you want to use. There's better descriptions on that. And the reason I did that is just some people they can just go and say, hey, I want to use Intel Mine, or I want to use this, or I want to use that. They're designed for different things. So different people will use different apps for different things. And some people may not use any of the apps. It's up to you guys. But the GPT, which we're on now, which I'm going to show tonight, is our core on that. Hey, Kevin Flowers, how are you? I just sent you back your message. So unfortunately, yeah, I'm sorry about your loss. And I'll get you guidance out on the skip tracing because I got what Eric and Amanda are doing, and it'll get you the numbers. It'll get you more direct. So we can do that, and then we can schedule one-on-one when you're ready next week or whatever, when you're back.
Okay.
You know that. So
Cool.
yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Because I wanted to try to do that on Friday, but that's my normal, it's easier to do it. But now that you gotta go to your funeral, that's gonna kind of be we'll get that taken care of.
Okay.
And then I'll get you all the guidance on that. But there is a way to generate all the numbers. What we do is we try to, get a lot of it from the AHJs and the counties because a lot of them have it. And it's just, I think some people just miss that one little, it's nothing that anybody does wrong. It's just so new. People are so used to, LexisNexis and True People Search and all that. It's right there. There's a place at the AHJs that has it at the counties. So we'll try to make sure you get that. So I'll get that guidance. I got what your message was, and I'll get that all out to you, and you'll probably have it by the time you get back from that. So
Cool. Thanks.
cool. Yeah, and then Adonis is new. He just on board last week, so you can meet him. Hey, Adonis, you told me you were from Denver, right? That you lived here at one point?
Yeah, so I actually went to East for a little while. I went to Maury Middle School. I lived right off of Colfax.
Cool. Yeah, that was interesting area now. It's probably from when you lived there. Yeah, so yeah, because I'm from Evergreen, so
Very
We
cool.
used
I
to
miss
go
it. I
down.
do.
and then
We used to go
of course,
down
I told you
Colfax to
Kevin,
work.
yeah, and Kevin's whole family owns the Stevenson dealerships and all the
Oh,
Denver
that's
West,
nice.
And Denver West.
Denver West Office Park, Denver West Village, Carl Mills Mall, all that land out there.
Wow,
His family owns it. They just
that's
sold,
fantastic.
yeah. So it's kind of cool. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and start on this tonight. And so, like I said, Adonis, I mean, it's not really hard where we're starting tonight. There's a whole bunch that you can probably watch some videos, but I'll do a one-on-one with you to get you caught up. But it's really nothing that you didn't miss anything, so you won't be like, hey, I'm starting.
All right.
It seems like just off the, somebody say, hey, we're starting at this point instead of showing we start at the beginning. So next week we'll be breaking these up into those two sessions. We'll do a beginner, not really beginner is the wrong word, but going from buy box to through what we've been through skip tracing, and then tonight we're going to start an offer generation, and we're showing people how to set up their projects. So I'll kind of just do a real quick refresher because I know Kevin is on as well, and he can get information to you guys on how to set that
Yeah,
up.
basically, we're starting off like you'd already gone through. Your reports came out. You like what you got going on in front of you. You got 3, 4, 5 properties that look really, really promising. What do you do next? Well, this is where Nate gets in here and he tells you how this works and the different modules that you need to complete the deal and how much time you can expect for all this to basically happen. With that being said, take it away, Nate.
Okay, so like I said, we normally will start in the buy box, setting up the buy box, and that is actually in the operator guide. So I know, Kevin, you've been on a few of these, but Adonis, so you can, if you want to get ahead of next week, that operator guide kind of talks about setting up buy boxes. So when you are in the GPT, you're gonna look at the sidebar. The buy box, you see projects in my sidebar. We teach everybody to set up consecutive projects while you're training it, and you start at the buy box and you go all the way. There's 12 total steps. We've gone over the first 7 the last couple of weeks. And like I said, I'll run through it one more time next Wednesday for everybody. We do save it on video, and then that is in the operator guide. So tonight we're actually going to start at offer generation, but real quick to show everybody kind of you and for coming on here, RCIC Core, just to get to it real quick. This is RCIC Core. This is actually one of the GPTs. We have 7 of them. These are where you go. Tomorrow, this will change. Start here. We'll be here. I'll be dropping that off, and I'll be actually changing that to deploy the Delta Suite protocol, which is what generates all those reports that those briefings that I've been telling everybody about for you guys. And I'll show you guys one of those briefings. So this will drop off tomorrow. These other 3 will stay. But the first one you guys always want to do is you got to change RCIC mode, which is awesome. It's you can go in there and get in lender mode and resident mode and all that stuff. I can run you guys through there. But what we're talking about tonight, real quick, I'm just going to do this real quick, and then I'm going to get back to what we're going to do tonight. Is when you're going to set up your buy box, you guys will go in here to that setup buy box. So everybody knows, you guys go here. It's going to walk you through it. It's nothing really. So if you follow this, you're going to be good. It talks about your buy box. You want to spend time on this. You want to be as detailed as possible. Nobody can see anything that you type in. You're actually teaching it to go find what you're looking for. It's going to ask you markets, the asset type, the primary strategy, price range, equity or discount requirement, condition tolerance, preferred distress signal. Do you like probate? Do you like foreclosure to tax delinquent? The capital position that you're in now. Do you need hard money, private money? The timeline, and then you got deal killers. So what they're going to do is the guys are going to give you all these questions. So what I would do is, you got here a structured sample, right? So what I would go ahead and put in, you can put in the structured sample. You guys can come down here and ask anything and build it. So just go to structured example and just go ahead and copy and paste this. You can copy and paste and then just, change out the letters. This should take you really about 30 minutes. That's the longest you're going to have to spend on this. And you guys want to fill this out, right? So what you want to do is just, maybe just take this or, you can actually just copy and paste it right in the ask anything, right? Fill it out, with your mouse or your finger. Before you hit this for, sending in the prompt or hitting enter, be careful you don't hit enter while you're doing this. I know with fingers it sucks, but I can get around this pretty easy with the mouse. You want to copy and paste it, and then one more after it's filled out the way you like it, the way you approve it, send prompt, and then you guys come over to projects, and you guys see where we got projects over here on the left. There's a buy box setup update, but I have a buy box in here that I have set up already. So you guys will set up projects, like you'll set up 12 of them. We've been teaching 7, but you'll set up and the reason, and it doesn't matter if you kind of screw it up and they're not in order. You guys look at mine; it's very much out of order. But so you don't have to worry about that. You can actually go in and pin them. You guys see here's a pin. You can pin these. So then you can go in and pin the ones you want. So you want to do 12 of them. We talk about 7. That operator guide will help you with those. Tonight we're going to start the process of going from 8 to 12. But don't worry, you don't miss anything. Because like I said, you got it pretty quick. So you want to get into the buy box and set all that up. And then it's going to start generating, it literally once you put your markets in and all that stuff, you start, you put in the, after buy box markets, and you got, comps, it'll pull comps, you put market reality assessment, and that whole operator guide walks you through all that and what they are. And it actually now gives you the prompts. So you don't have to worry about it. You can go. So you want to take, if you go to a buy box one, if you go to, I'll just show you an example. If you just happen to go to any of these, if you go to any of these, you actually pull it up, it'll actually help you fill it out. And you do it one at a time because you're training it. Now it seems a little bit redundant, or it seems a little okay, it's a little time consuming to go through 12. And because what you do is you just basically pass down that information to the next box, to market, to pulling comps, to pulling all the way through the process. What you're doing is you're training your system. And it takes about 30 days. Those things start happening right away. To actually train it. Eventually it'll be trained and you won't have to do that. You'll be able to work strictly from your prompt bar. So let me go ahead and start where I was going to start tonight, just to kind of, here's projects. Let me real quick show you guys that. So I got buy box, right? So after I copy and paste that, I just come to my buy box. This is my first project. I copy and paste that in there, save it. Eventually, then when you guys start getting these reports, it's going to start filtering these. If you do the Delta Sweep, which we'll talk about, the Delta Sweep protocol and your markets, which is your markets guide. So if somebody's in St. Louis or they're in Phoenix, you can do a market guide. And I usually make them for people, give me 2 or 3 counties, and then I'll make them for you the first one. But after that, if you want to add counties, you just put it in your prompt bar, add photos and files. You put in the Cuyahoga one for Cleveland and say, hey, can you duplicate this, but for Las Vegas? It'll make them for you after that. So you can make your own as many as you want. That's how you expand. So like I said, after buy box, you guys will go down through projects. Like I said, I'm kind of showing you guys some stuff real quick. We got the market guides, but you guys get into projects, right? After that, you guys will sit there and there's, you got my markets. That's going to be your next one. And then you guys get down and there's the tools, there's pulling comps. You got market reality assessment. So this core operator guide, which you guys all have access to in the Facebook groups. If you guys want it, I'll send it to you directly as well. That is actually going to walk you through this whole process. And we also have one called the Delta Sweep. And Delta Sweep is actually something that's part of, it's GPT, it's a term. So what happens is I'll show this real quick and then we'll start on step 8. So you guys see this like this morning. Let's just go with the nationwide one. This is what the Delta Sweep protocol generates for me. I get 15 of these a week. So you guys sit there, this is cool. And you guys can copy and paste these. Once you guys put in that prompt and you got your markets, it's going to go out there and get these reports for you. And that way, I'm going to show you guys a couple of cool things about it. You guys see here, you guys got these little links, right, to pull up. Like here's Adam. This is actually Adam has it gives you all the data on foreclosure filings. That's where I get a lot of my information when I pass it on to you guys. But you guys can go in and see these links, and the links that you guys see in here in these reports, we're referring to them as off ramps. So you guys can just click on them and go right to that county or right to that jurisdiction. If you ever get a 404. It's going to be because the jurisdiction may be having some kind of IT upgrade or something. I hit that in my own county in Colorado in January because they just, or a couple weeks, they basically updated the entire IT system for the entire county. So it was down. So you can sometimes then just go manually, but those are the links. So you got to sit there and it's going to tell you right here, 42,430 foreclosure filings nationwide. That was in April. I will have the May statistics about probably midpoint of next week. They usually come out around the 15th. And then this talks about foreclosure starts, 28,414. So you guys can generate these and you guys can get all your information for that. Completed foreclosures, it's 42% year over year. And it talks about Texas ranks second nationally for, foreclosure starts. You guys get down here in North Texas is good. It gives you the zip code. It tells you the market. You guys can start if you guys like those areas, because like I said, don't worry about if it was Texas and you're not in Texas, because you guys, I'm just showing you one of the reports I get as an example. But here's Collin County. You can pull up their foreclosures, right? You can click on this and go right to Collin County's foreclosures, and you can actually get the whole list. And you can then either see if you like properties there, or if you want to bring the whole list back, you can. If you do that, you can sometimes they have a PDF. You can just download the PDF, save it, come back in and enter it to your buy box, that PDF, or you can just copy and paste and just put it in your buy box, and it'll start running through according to what you set up. So that way, let's say in El Paso County, Colorado, in November, which is Colorado Springs for those who are not from here, they had 84 foreclosure filings. You take those 84, you put in your buy box, and maybe only 5 of them are going to actually meet your criteria. Maybe you might get a few more. Like I said, think about it as like expansion and contraction. Anytime you want more, or you can add a county, you can add zip codes. Always do your searches by counties and zip codes. That's kind of key. But like I said, you can go in and expand or contract. If you start getting a lot of stuff, contract. You can do this at 2:00 in the morning. You make the decision. You don't even need me at that point. So this gives you your Texas metros, and there's your link to San Antonio Express News. So you guys will get some media. These things will generate media stuff for you. So you can see what the media is saying about Houston or San Antonio. This is Judicial State Opportunity Markets. So Florida, Georgia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. For anybody going nationally, that's important too. And here's another, the Living Stars, the Adam Report again. Here, it'll also give you your probate activity. Now you guys go, that's just one. I'll kind of show you got tax lien, sheriff sales, and surplus. Then you guys get the top 25 actionable opportunities. These are in Collin County, Texas. There's that off-ramp. Remember, the on-ramp is just your GPT icon. So you get these Frisco, Princeton, Allen, Texas, Murphy, McKinney, Prosper. You guys can go through there. And if you're getting your reports, like I'm getting 15 of these a week. Nationally, I'm getting Colorado, I'm getting some localized. So I'm getting 15 of them really good. You guys will start getting areas that are good, and you guys can then put them into the buy box. You can put them in your markets, and you can start having it search those specific areas. That's how you guys start generating a lot of these leads. And like, here's your official source links, right? And your probate filings, and the market guides that I generate for you, and the ones that you will generate for yourself after that. It'll have all the information. So like Collin County, it'll have all their, what are there, like in Colorado, Boulder, you guys see where Boulder's at in the map. Boulder and Broomfield counties are right next to each other, but there are the difference between night and day. Some counties aren't sophisticated. They're still what we call Mayberry. Now, Broomfield's not Mayberry County. You guys probably know from Andy Griffiths, they don't have any technology, or they're small. They might get 3 foreclosures or 1 foreclosure a year, and they're going to combine it with everything else they got. So those you don't get a lot of good information. Or if you click on this foreclosure notice for Collin County, you're going to get some a lot of foreclosures. Here's a national foreclosure report from Adam. I just mentioned them. This is all sales auctions and all that. I'll show you guys one real quick from the another one, and then we'll go. Like I said, then we'll go show you what I was going to show you tonight. So if I want to go to, let me just show you. This is one that I get locally. So this is actually where I live, and I get this one. And you guys get these, like, you can get these, like, literally when we talk about like PropStream and Deal Machine, and then they buy from aggregators. The aggregators you guys will get these at the same time, the aggregators. And the skip tracing information is usually in the AHJs. These are what we call the AHJs, these counties, the authority having jurisdiction. Think about code, building code, fire code, plumbing code, electrical code. In the first page, a couple pages, it'll say the authority having jurisdiction. When I was the county fire marshal and the county fire chief, I was the authority having jurisdiction. I was the jurisdiction over the fire code. So think about it that way. So when you guys get into these situations, the AHJs are important. This is an exceptions and changes. So this is just basically updating me. There's the pre-sale list. You guys always want to check your pre-sale list, and most every county in the United States has the pre-sale list. So you guys can click on that and pull it up. There's a lot of other stuff. You guys see the links. These are the off-ramps. El Paso County had 15 filings last week. Here's Jefferson County. Here's El Paso. So it's giving you all this information, guys. So we're talking about like the skip tracing information. They got to serve these. They got to serve them. They either got to mail them. They got to serve them. So they're going to have the information on there to do that. Their address. They're going to have their names. They have to be right, because nobody's really used to seeing these, because these aggregators and these prop tech companies and list sellers don't want you to have this information. So now you guys know where the information is. If you want to go into the NEDs, the filings are going to have them. The other thing was we can show it to you. I can there's some NEDs, and I'll put some in the Facebook groups and files as well. They will have the lender information. They'll actually have the lender, usually their email address. Sometimes the rep for the lender, whoever actually is the person responsible, maybe have their email address. You guys think about like skip tracing. Well, what happens? Why not just go to the lender sometimes and say, hey, can I make an offer? This looks like a really good opportunity. They may take you up on it. Guess what? You also have the lender's attorney, and you'll have their name, their email address. Yes, law firms and lenders still use fax. It's probably e-fax. You have all that information. Also, the tax assessor. same AHJ. You just, instead of going to the foreclosures at like the county clerk and recorder or the public trustee, go to the tax assessor, and then even go to the building department, inspection department, see if they've pulled any permits. If they're recent, if it's, it's always worth a check to check permits, because the contractor has to put the customer's name on the permit, because a lot of times, especially if it's an interior job, they have to be able to call the people for access. Sometimes the contractors aren't always there when they do inspections. So here you guys go. Here's the El Paso trustee system. I could click on that. There's Jefferson County, my county. It's giving some active changes. It's telling me what's going on now. I may have seen this. This report is something on maybe 8 to 10 that I've already seen. And these are changes like now they're going to be like maybe they're going to cure it. So there's intent to cure has been filed, but the cure has not been perfected. So there's still an opportunity there. But if they've perfected the cure, it's off the table. You won't see it probably the next week. A lot of these come out weekly. So you guys will get in the cadence. You guys start getting these, you start getting these reports, you start getting the cadence. Think about it now. You don't need 10,000 records. You guys are getting full intelligence package. You're able to go out and get all this information. I'm actually going to show you this. So, because both of you guys are, everybody's on I'll kind of just do what we're going to do tonight, next week. That way I can show you guys this, because I know this is really important. You got the share civil sales, you got surplus and overbid watch and all this stuff. So let me real quick, let me show you one of these off links. Let's see if I can get, there you go. There's Jefferson County. Okay, give me 1 second to pull it. Just to make sure you guys, and since you guys are kind of newer, especially you, Adonis, and Kevin, you've been on a few times, and Matt's on so as well. If you guys ever see me where I'm talking, it looks like I'm talking about a page and you guys can't see it, remind me. I try to remember that I have to stop share and reshare so you guys can see it. This is Jefferson County. This is actually where I live. So you guys would go to it. You still have to do them manually, like, hey, you're a human, accept terms, things like that. You go here to search foreclosures, right? So this is the off ramp to Jefferson County, right? So now I'm going to come in here. Here's the foreclosure reports and all that. So it's pretty cool. So I'm going to do the foreclosure property search. I have to accept terms. Now I've got the property search. Like I said, if you get these, you're going to get a lot of information on these NED reports and all these briefings that you guys are seeing that I just showed you. If you guys got the foreclosure number, the name of the people, you can fill it out that way. If you want to check like all the fresh filings, you guys can go in and check this way. You guys can go and see med recorded. You guys can see new filings, new foreclosure. You can go in there and you can just search it and get everything that's in that status. So if you want all NEDs, notice of election demand or notice of default in non-judicial states, with list pendants in judicial states, you can search that way. What I like to do, guys, is I like to go in here and I'll just ask for the NED date range. And right now I'm going to check my county from June 1st to, I'm just going to check through yesterday, right? Hit search. We had 6 records. So here you guys go. There's 6. This is just last week. So since I live, Kittredge is kind of interesting because I live in Evergreen. Kittredge is like a little small town of a little bit of like 500 people. So this is information you guys will get, right? You'll have the address, the subdivision. It'll have the legal description. That's where you get the legal description. If it's an agriculture or not, you'll get that. Here's the current owner. Here's guess what? Because why these addresses different? Now you think about this skip tracing. Now you got this address, so you can go and put these. You could even just copy and paste that and go put it back into the skip tracing prompt that you guys have in the operator guide and skip tracing warrant prompt. Go back and see why they're getting served at that location, mailing or in person by the sheriff or a process server. That could be right there what gets you everything, including their number. So you guys want to click on it. You guys look at the documents. The one that's going to be most important is going to be this NED. We'll pull the NED.TIF at the end of this. Now, guys, keep in mind you may have 2 counties next to each other, completely different look. They're just using different vendors. And one of the things in the market guide is I encourage you guys, once you guys have one, go and look at your jurisdictions that you've chosen, your counties and county, you can see how these are set up. A lot of the counties have this, but it just may be in a different form. So, like I said, that's where you're gonna go. You got withdrawal. There's no information here because it hasn't been withdrawn. If it gets withdrawn, you get it in one of those updates like I just showed you. Here's the sale information. There is the mortgage company. So like it's a servicing company, not a mortgage company. That actually is a good situation. You guys get it. Here's your liener for your second and third liens. All that information will be on there. So right now, at this point in this foreclosure, since it's brand new, which was filed last week, there's not going to be any information there. Here's the publications. They have to publish it. They haven't published it yet. Golden transcript, because Jefferson County is cheap. It's $8. They have to put it in twice. It hasn't been put in yet. So this is fresh. Somebody could go get this right. Probably a really good deal right now. Mailings. Guess what, guys? Here's the mailings. There's the occupancy. These are Aurora. So guess what? Now here's another address here in Aurora. Here's another. So you guys now have that address that we just showed you out of state. And you got Burnham Drive, which is in Kittredge, and you've got this one here in Aurora, Colorado. So you got a lot of information. You can skip trace with this. And then you guys get into here is the beauty part. There's a law firm. You can call it Alina, McCarthy and Holsis, which I see a lot. You get the file number, you got their address, you got their email address and their phone number. So you can go through the lender or the servicing company, and you can go through their through their attorney. All the deed information would be here. Here's all the intent. They have to file intent by September 9th, and the cure deadline's September 23rd. I think the sales after that. Any deed was reported on the 4th. Here's a reception number. Guys, guess what? I'm going to show you some cool shit. Now you get down here. You get into loan information, conventional residential, $190,000 principal. Outstanding principal is $176. Outstanding principal value of a date when it is 5/26. Interest rate 4.85%. 4.875% fixed. Select portfolio servicing. It's got the grantee and it's got the grantor. That's a lot of information that you guys want. Bankruptcy. There's no bankruptcies or temporary restraining orders. We're going to get back there. This is the property again. So you know what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up the NUD. I just saved it. And now I'm going to go back to the search list. And thankfully, this isn't one with 84, so I can just go on there real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and like I said, we're not going to do what I was planning tonight because you guys will benefit more from this. So now I'm going to go back to my icon, right? And I just on-ramped back to RCIC for this is what I'm going to have to go back and reshare it real quick to show you guys. So right now I got that NED, right? And I got this. So I'm going to go ahead and let me see if I want to go through and real quick. Just deciding where I want to go with this. You guys would go back to your buy box and your start processing it. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to use my R&D one. So I'm going to go ahead and put in that information, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add that NAD. And then I'm going to show you guys. You guys will do this in your buy box and all that kind of stuff. Let me see if the node is in there. There it is. And so I'm basically showing you guys this is what is coming up. This is actually a very good training example. Why NAD's notice selection demand are viable intelligence documents. So you guys got the file. You got all the information I just showed you, but now it's on one screen, right? You got the NAD number, the borrowers, the property address, you got the county, loan amount, the debt claimed, the sale date, current debt holder, original beneficiary, deed of trust date, recording date, foreclosure, attorney, address. So the debt amount intelligence. it's going to walk you through this. And guys, I'm going to generate a PDF at this end, and I'll send you guys both this PDF. So you guys, if you guys miss something, then you guys will be able to go and see this. Some cool stuff about this. So most investors skip right over this. Operators should immediately ask, what is the current market value? What is the estimated equity? Is there enough spread for wholesale? Is there enough equity for creative financing? Is reinstatement possibility? This single number drives acquisition, attorney intelligence. It has the intelligence. Said many operators focus only on the homeowner. The foreclosure attorney is often handling payoff requests, handling reinstatement figures, handling foreclosure timelines, managing postponements. So you got loan intelligence. You got all your loan intelligence. It's pretty cool. It gets in a skip trace enhancement. So when you guys get into this is relatively recent financing, borrowers not paid loan down significantly, likely limited equity growth from amortization, appreciation will determine opportunity, skip trace enhancement. Guys, remember when I showed you the other addresses, the other two they had? You guys can then enter these into something like this. You guys will just enter those in the prop bar and start asking it what's publicly known. You always want to say what is publicly known when you're doing stuff like that, because then it'll go out and search all of them. You can get 100 searches at one time, literally 100 results. I mean, it could be that many. It's pretty cool. So when we get all this information, here it talks about, and here's your skip tracing, Kevin, when you were asking about that, some of it. This dramatically improves skip trace accuracy versus tax rules alone. So we have the Delta Sweep intelligence stack. Explain that the NED is only one layer. A complete Delta Sweep would combine layer 1, the NED, layer 2 is the county assessor, layer 3 is the county treasurer, layer 4 is the recorder, layer 5 is a court search, layer 6 is skip trace, 7 is MLS market value, then you get an operator acquisition score. So, and you guys think about this, looks time consuming, but no, after you guys probably spend 30 to 40, maybe 45 days, but generally under 30 days, between 7 and 30, you guys are doing this and following that operator guide and setting up those projects, your next one's markets, and you get into pull comps. You start doing this, you're training the system. Think about it, you're training your employee. It's going to think faster than you. Eventually, at one point, it's going to predict what you like. It's going to pull things out there like, holy crap, I didn't think about that. Because it gets to know you. The intelligence and the AI gets to know you. It knows what you're doing. It knows what you're looking for. You're never going to get a bad deal. That's how you take 42,430 foreclosure filings, and you get it down to those 3 or 4 that you're actually gonna probably close. It's a pretty cool process. It's completely different, mind-blowing compared to what everybody else is doing. 99% of the people aren't doing anything like this. They want to sell you another subscription. So you guys get in the NED. This is cool. Most wholesalers see a foreclosure filing. You guys see debt amount, the lender, the attorney, the sale date. It's pretty cool. A lot of things. What are some suggested strategies for and plays on this opportunity? We try to talk to people about opportunity rather than leads. So you guys, like I said, I will generate a PDF, and then I am going to try to go real quick and at least show you guys what we're going to go over tonight. Because I don't keep saying that, but so you guys are looking at what your strategies is. Like I said, I'll have the PDF so you guys can look at it. What your traditional equity wholesale is. Then you guys get into your significant equity motivated seller enough time before sale. It's going to determine your current market value, subtract the debt, and subtract closing costs and assignment fee. It's pretty cool. So if the value is 425, so you're going to want to pull comps. And once you pull comps with an agent as well, you'll pull the same information. You can ask it to pull the comps. You'll have a pull comps as your third project in the row of 12. So third will be pull comps, and you do market reality assessment, which is kind of like compared to a competitive market analysis that a real estate agent does. And then you guys will go into rehab, scope of work, and ARV, and then skip tracing. And then in a minute, I'm going to show you guys what we're going to talk about tonight. So it's going to go through all these numbers, and once you pull comps, and you start thinking about all those numbers, it's going to program in there. This is GPT, guys. This is core. We do a lot of building and stuff. And these other apps you guys see that we have, you guys will really get a lot better information. A lot, there's a whole like structure. This is not structured, so it's designed so you guys can build onto this. Like Eric has, you guys will do this. Eric and Amanda and a few other people have built. They're way ahead of me even in some cases. So you guys get all the information, you get all the strategies. So this leaves a lot of room. So what is Burnham Drive actually worth today? So you do your comps and all that, find out what's going on in Kittredge and Burnham Drive. Reinstatement play, often overlooked. They only may be behind 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. It may show the full accelerated balance. So you're not necessarily required to pay off 176,438. They only needed the arrears, the fees, and the attorney costs. It might be 12,000, 18,000, 25,000. If they don't have it, you could create a play. Once you guys have cash flow and all that, you guys have some stuff saved up, you could go in and do a play like that. And it's almost like having a tax lien, because then you become a leaner. You help them get out of arrears. There's some plays there. We're not going to get too much into that tonight. Then you guys get a subject to. Here's where you guys go into your subject to. Is the loan fixed? What's the interest rate? What's the monthly payment? Is there escrow? It's going to show you all this. And even if it's a non-judicial or not a judicial state, you guys are going to know what the interest rate is, what they owe, what's the reinstatement, things like that. You'll be able to rapidly figure it out. And you'll be able to plug this in and automate this process. It's pretty cool that way. Then you got seller finance, you got a hybrid. Like I said, I'm going to generate a PDF. Then you guys get a foreclosure rescue partnership is another one. So like I said, I'm going to generate. See, guys, guess what? You've already got 9 strategies. And then you guys get in there. You pull assessor record, you pull your property characteristics, you estimate the current market value, you pull additional recorded liens, estimate quality, equity, determine likely strategy stack. It's going to talk about that, the whole process. Can you save this? So yeah, I'll get you guys that. I'll get you the. See, I'll get you that PDF so you can go through there.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do that all the time, and there's a lot of them in the Facebook groups as well that I've already put there. So like I said, you guys can go and give you add this material to the PDF. We always do that so you guys, because I don't go with everything. We don't really have it. That way you can read it on your own time. And you can always take my PDF and put it in the prompt bar and have it explain it to you on your terms. So that way you can, in your time frame and however you learn it. The cool thing is when you go to there's a thing in modes in RCIC core. When you go to modes, learning mode, switch to learning mode. You can go into learning mode and learn anything and everything. It's pretty cool. So there's the updated PDF. And then I will, save that PDF. And then I'm going to show you real quick on what we're doing, what I was going to go over tonight. And then we'll do a one-on-one, and that's where you have yours, you can zoom back to me, share your screen with me. I like to see what you're doing on it. So keep in mind the GPT is like our bread and butter. We're going to be doing this. And then starting in July, we're going to be doing these sessions where we're just doing deals. And then we're just going to be, people will be flowing and people running their GPT. Hopefully people have they have a laptop and you have a phone or something, watch on your phone, work on that's what we want to do in July. So I'm trying to get everybody to the same point. So right now I'm going to go back over to what I set up for tonight earlier. Let me see, I got to go to core for there's a few navigation tricks and you'll learn those. It's pretty cool. This thing is really just incredible what it's come down to. So we got tonight's session. Let me show you real quick tonight what we're doing. I did post this in the Facebook group too already, so you guys can go. You can go in there and look through this. So we talked about those first 7. is going through buy box. You go to markets, comps, market reality assessments, like I said, and then you got rehab scope of work. You got determined ARV and skip tracing. Well, after that, it goes to like offer generation, sending the offer out, lender match. We got capital passport. We have a capital. You can go to lender mode in modes. So like before we sign off tonight, I'll show you again where modes are and how to work that learning mode. But you can go to lender mode. We also have, and I used to give everybody all 7 GPTs. Not everybody needs all 7 at one time because people have to really kind of get core down. We do have a capital passport dedicated GPT, but these apps like you're talking about the Intel Mind, we also have the capital passport one, and the other ones like Market Dominator and all that have all the lenders put in there. We have 1,383 lending and funding sources, and so it'll match it. It's pretty cool that way. You guys talk. Here's the capital passport app. Let's talk about that app. So you get the GPT creates intelligence. You got the app stores, organizes, updates, and deploys that intelligence. This is on that app that I talked about. You got lender matching. So I'm going to kind of just go through that order. So there's a total of 12 projects. When you're on projects, like I said, you'll get those prompts. You have the first 7. The operator guide is you just set those up in order. Just boom, 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 right down through your projects right here on your sidebar. Set those up in order because while you're training it, like I said, you're not going to have to worry about it after about 30 days. As you're training it, you just go down project to project, do the process. You're training it, you're feeding it information. You get the buy box, you get what I just showed you on the screen for that burn-in property. You feed that into the buy box and you take it down to the next one, and you're training the system. And you're training it on your terms, what you're looking for. Everything you tweak your way. You're not tweaking our way. You can change anything. And I'll show you how to, after about 30 days, once you're comfortable, how to build your own GPT. We build it all around you, and it's pretty cool. And then you have it runs all your systems. So we started, the deal analysis. There are tools in the process. Buy box alignment, comps, MRA, ARV, rehab scope of work, exit strategy, skip tracing. It's all deal analysis. Then we get into offer generation, and like I said, this is all basically in another PDF that you guys can go and you'll have the prompts. So rather than having to remember this or having to, you just basically take the PDF, put it here, and ask it to implement this. Everything's that simple. You just take the PDF and ask it to implement it, and then you tweak it, and then it's yours, and it's basically going to run everything the way you want it to. It's pretty cool that way. So we get into offer generation, right? And it's talking about your inputs. Then you go to your outputs: cash offer, wholesale offer, creative, subject to seller financing. Like I said, then you go to if you don't understand, if somebody doesn't understand something, or it's a new concept, or it's a strategy that you want to explore, you have learning mode. I'm going to show you right where that is, so you can go in there and you can learn about and how to structure this and how to put it together. That's why I said most of this is, for me, most of these Zoom sessions are like a navigation, like how to navigate. Because once you go into the system, you learn learning mode, all this, it's going to teach you anything you didn't know, and it's going to reinforce what you know, and then you're going to be able to build on it. So this is supposed to give everybody a lot of confidence. Where people are just struggling, the only thing they're struggling with is this is so foreign as far as this level of, I don't know, Kevin, you've seen that probably. A lot of the people, it's like some people are like, wow, I can't believe there's this much information available, because these skip tracers, and that's skip tracers, but the prop tech companies, the list sellers, all the aggregators, they don't want you to have all this information. They want to sell you leads. They want to keep selling the leads. They want to sell you a skip tracing subscription. That's why, PropStream, it's like, here's your subscription, but if you want the skip tracing, it's another $119 a month for 10,000 records. As you're seeing 10,000 records, you have to feed that into a dialer or give it to a VA. There's another expense. Here you're able to get it down to the exact deal you want to do. So then
the other thing is the time factor it takes to do all this. You're already a mile and a half ahead of everybody, because this thing is real time. Everything else, you got to wait on everybody else to come up with their answers. This is all one spot, everything you need at the same time you need it.
Yep, and you guys, so tomorrow morning, Jefferson County, El Paso County, out of the 16 counties that I watch from Casper down to Pueblo, I go all the way to Summit County, all the way to Watkins Bennett. 8 of my counties that I monitor in Colorado will release tomorrow morning by 8 o'clock. I could literally feed this in there, And there's a way, actually, we'll talk about it on your one-on-one and how to set up a Gmail. You can set up in apps on the sidebar. You can go up here and actually help if you want. You just set up a free Gmail, set up the Gmail outside of it. So you already have it set up. Then you come here, click on apps. It'll help you set up an app. When you're in here and setting up your system, you basically tell it to send all the information, like I showed you, those reports to that email. That's where I get those. You'll see me post those. I think probably sent a few when we were talking back and forth over the last couple of weeks. Those reports, so you can have them sent to your email. You literally will get them if Jefferson County releases. I think last week it was 8:04. I had Jefferson County's by 8:30. I'm beating. You can literally go and start working the deal by noon. You should be able to have 5 or 6 deals already analyzed, all the deal analysis, skip tracing, everything, and you can start calling that day. These people are they know they're in trouble because they've been served. Now the apps do a better job at pre-foreclosures and everybody that you're going to get in this system is in distress and they know it. So you can deal with them, you can deal with the lender, you can deal with the lender's attorney. So you got Capital Passport. It's going to ask all the questions. And then you got the GPT, which is separate, and then you guys got the Capital Passport app, which you can use at any time. You got lender matching. So 1,382 lenders, after it goes through all the material, you can take it in the Capital Passport or lender mode and ask it to start matching lenders. It's going to pull lenders out. It's going to walk through the process. You're still going to have to send out offers. You're still going to have to contact the lenders. But if you look at the Capital Passport app itself, it actually is like a catalog almost, and you can go in there. I can show you that. So you can get the operator guide and see how easy that is to use that, or use Market Dominator because it has that in there as well. A couple of the apps already have it, and the Anthropic API key works across the board for everything. People only need one key, and I tell people, put $20 in there to start, see what's going. They're charging you probably 2 cents to 10 cents a call, meaning a call's like any kind of searches and all that. I don't think I literally only spent like $8 and I put 50 in, and then literally it's ridiculously low what it costs compared to going and buying leads and paying skip tracing and paying VAs. You're able to get this down to like $100 a month, maybe. It's pretty good that way. Then you guys got lender mode. So you got lender mode, talking points. You get lender mode helps to determine who should see this deal, who should not see this deal, what documentation is required, what questions. Then you guys will get, like I said, I'll show you lender mode in a second. So we'll skip over that. And then you got underwriting. And it'll help you through all the underwriting. You'll actually get all the lenders able to plug in their information and underwrite. Think about this: you're underwriting to lenders that you have all the information on what they need. You can package it and you can ship it off that way. It scores it. Then you guys get into closing. We got TC mode. But let me show you this because we're kind of I try to finish these up in an hour. Like I said, I have all this this is all in a PDF that I loaded. Everything, always go to Files tab and you get everything. And you get the zips and you can try out anything. Look at the menu of the catalog and see if there's any apps and stuff like that. It tells you what they are. And these are really good. So we're gonna go back to core. And you guys see change RCIC mode. So I go to change RCIC mode, right? Go ahead, actually populates real quick. Okay, populate. Let me stop sharing them and reshare real quick to make sure that it's fresh. So you guys go to switch modes, right? So you guys, the command is switch modes. So now you got RCIC modes, you got resident mode. Most people are going to be in resident mode. Operator mode is for some people doing KPIs. You're out there really taking down huge multifamily complexes, things like that. You're going after some big deals. TC, transaction coordinator. I'm going to show you lender mode. You got wholesaler mode. If you're in a wholesale, go to wholesaler mode. Learning mode, agent mode, which is for real estate agents. Tax lien mode, rehab mode. When you guys are doing all your skip tracing and all your rehab and scope of work for your processing, you want to come to rehab mode. Comms mode helps you write all the correspondence. It'll help you with offer generation. It'll help you with all that. It'll help you with communications, writing emails, generating stuff. So the command is switch to. CC switch to rehab mode. to get out of this, return to default mode. So I got to remember to switch to whatever mode you're in, and then return to default. So let me real quick show you one. I'll show you learning, and then I'll show you lender, and then we'll finish up for the night. I just like, because I don't like to overwhelm people on the first sessions. That way you can learn, because since you're already using one of the apps. So it's going to switch to learning mode. We're the only ones that have this. So you can go in plain English explanations, concept breakdowns, training plans. You get step-by-step frameworks, all the glossaries if you want to learn all the tricks, all the terms and all that. Beginner to advanced learning paths, risk-aware education without legal, tax, lending, or investment advice. It's not going to give you any advice, but it's going to basically walk you through the process. So you'll learn the stuff that lawyers would charge you for, but we put guardrails in. Send the concept, workflow, real estate topic you want broken down. So when you're asking how to write an offer, or the best practices in writing an offer, how to put that, what are these lenders? Putting these lenders, can I research these lenders that'll walk you through those processes. Now to get out, I'm going to go return to default mode. And I'm going to show you lending mode real quick. So like I said, this is really navigation, because you want to play with it once you get it and go to lender mode, and you want to build your buy box. It's going to walk through the processes and use the PDFs. So we're back into default mode. And so now I'm going to go switch to lending mode. And it's gonna frame responses around conceptual underwriting, capital stack review, DSCR, leverage awareness, rehab risk, exit strategy, borrower strength, and lender discussion. It's a guidance only, confirmed terms, eligibility requirements with a lender, broker, attorney, title professional. It's going to walk through the entire process. So it's really incredible what lender mode will do. You can go in any of these other modes, rehab, scope of work mode, you name it, you can go in any of these modes. Kind of showing real quick how it's set up, because we'll eventually, in about 30 to 45 days of honest, I'll do like another one-on-one with you, and we'll build a GPT for you that's specifically custom for you, and we can build an app as well. So I go to my GPTs and I show you this is all our GPTs. Trash or cash, we have a few other ones. We have scope of work. There's a one for that. But you guys get down, I'm going to show you real quick what And so I have a lot of these. So you see this core. So I'm going to go, if I'm going to edit core, I'm going to show you kind of how core is set up. This is actually what it looks like. You're familiar with this. And tomorrow, like I said, I'm going to change this out. It'll actually be set up, or update will be there first. This will actually be, there'll be a send out the Delta Suite protocol, deploy Delta Suite. That's what's going to, everybody will help them put the markets in. It'll guide you through that. So you don't have to worry about it. You never have to really go, if you really ever get stuck learning mode, if you really need help, then like I said, you copy and paste or you screenshot, send me on Messenger in the morning, 7 days a week between 8 o'clock and noon my time. And I will generally be able to get you an answer in a couple of minutes, send it back with PDF on Messenger Live. So these are what they call, these are instructions. These are the conversation starters. You can write like 10, but it only gives you the top 4. These are acknowledged, so all these are PDFs. It gives you 20 spaces. So this is what's powering all the intelligence. Some of these are 10 or 15 pages long, and it's guiding all the intelligence. And that's why I have 7 GPTs, because I put 12,000 pages worth of material in here to train it. So you get through that. You get down to here's the recommended model. We're in 5.5. This is the capabilities and stuff, and what it can do and what it can't, stuff like that. You guys get into, it's pretty cool that way. I always go back and I will always update it before I leave, just to make sure we're kind of current. So it'll update. And then anyone with a link, that's what I copy a link at GPT. And, I can, this is the actual link that's, because I gave everybody a bit.ly link to make it, because it's shorter, but we actually can give everybody if you want it as well, I'll send you over that actual link so you have the actual link. Sometimes it helps for people to have that. We get back into this, it's pretty cool. Like I said, it's just I don't like to overwhelm people on there first. Try to give get the GPT going. You got an app going, like play with those and stuff. We're going to do another session tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I'm putting this on recording. We're going to talk about our affiliate program. So, with honestly, we have this program, right? And you can go out there through Gumroad. You can sign up for an affiliate. You get paid 25%. And we got, eventually, probably by the end of the month, we'll have 20 products on there. They pay you directly. So don't have to worry about me. They pay you directly, and some of them you make like 20, 25 bucks. But there's a couple products on there you make $200 or $300. So you're out there, if you know people out there, you can help promote us. It's a family too. I mean, we started this group in 2020 during the pandemic. We still have 9 of the first 13 people. So,
Wow. Yeah. No, I definitely know people that would be very interested in all of this. I mean, like I said before, it's overwhelming to me, but in a good way. I'm overwhelmed with how much good and how much brilliance there is in these modules and in these GPTs. It's incredible. I
Yeah.
knew that this was like
Yeah.
likely impossible, but I didn't know the full scope of what all was in this.
If you haven't
That-
noticed, if you've been playing around with AI at all, everybody's doing the individual module stuff, thinking that's the whole thing. He's come about it from a 180-degree difference in the fact that his approach is coming from start figuring everything out first and then go out and go get what you need instead of, oh, this is what you need. You don't need anything else. And that's what makes this different from what everybody else is doing. And the fact that it's all step by step and you have access to guidance on how to put it in throughout, the system with the system itself. So you really don't have to go get it from anybody else, but we have people available to do that. So the whole thing is the more that you get to know it and it gets to know you, the easier this gets. And then once you get to a certain point, 30 to 45 days later, it's like, okay, what else can we kick in this thing? And then you start branching off into other projects and other parts of real estate. Anything and everything that has anything to do with real estate is available through this system. All of it. And nobody else can do that. Plus, with the files that we have and the amount of library that we have that's in here to start with before you guys even bring your own stuff in here is unreal. And there's no way that anybody's going to be able to keep, to catch up with this. And that's basically the power of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I think this is honestly the best investment I've ever made in myself and my future and the future generations of people who are going to invest in this as well, because I'm definitely going to be sharing this with a few of my friends that are currently working toward learning more from just the wholesale side. I started off just doing like land deals, and now I'm kind of drifting toward single family, multifamily, and commercial. And I've closed a couple deals, just very simple wholesale deals, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm learning about tonight that I'd never even heard of. I know about creative financing, but I've not really done anything in like
Yeah.
novation or subject to, none of that yet. And I'm very glad
You're
that I've
teaching
met
from the
Nate.
baseline. Yeah, you're learning from the baseline like without having the guru or the ego, like, oh, yeah, this is my system. And because you'll find a lot of gurus. I started out, and Kevin went to the same path. I started out through Leonardo being a private money broker, and I probably told you this in some of the messages I sent you. I started out in 2017 about this time. I went to a funding tour for 3 days. I signed up for the private money broker course. I took that later in August. So I'm almost on 9 years now, becoming a private money broker through Leonardo Capital. Kevin did the same thing. Ginger in our group did the same thing. And Neil, I met Neil. He's from Colorado. I met him on the funding tour I did after I closed my first set of deals. And my seventh deal was $7.2 million. I made $216,000. So keep in mind, until about a year ago, we started this community during COVID. We had 13 people. We still have 9 people in the group that are from that. They all paid $397. We've only raised it $2. We didn't have any of this until about a year ago. I was using this. I got the AI, I had the free, I upgraded to paid. I was organizing to build 3 websites because I figured it was going to take 3 websites with the amount of stuff I have in here. And Kevin can attest to the amount of materials that I have put in there compared to what I still got to put in there. I put 12,000 pages of material in. We had 19,000 contacts and 11 databases, hedge funds, family offices, all this stuff, because of some of the stuff we were doing as a partnership before we started this community. So this came during COVID. So we've evolved. Now we have like 200 people. Now all of a sudden we went to, this has been the bread and butter. It will always be the bread and butter, the GPT. But what will happen is people are going to start using the apps, RCIC systems. They can use it all. where people can just go, this works for me, you use Intel mine. This works for me, this one works for me, the rest of them don't work. But here's the beauty, now tomorrow night we'll go over the affiliate program. And if you sign up for that, then you're talking to your friends. Not only that, you give them the link and all that, they go sign up directly. It gives all the activation right away. The only activation that still has to come through us is for this, but nobody's going to get this unless they do the lifetime plan. You pay $3.99. Go look at RCIC systems now and see what the lifetime plan is going to cost people $3,500. So if you go get somebody in a lifetime plan at that, I'll send you $1,000 on Zelle. Because we can't do that program through Gumroad. With Gumroad, you can go in there and like a $97, and they're all going to go up. These are all introductory, so probably at the end of third quarter, probably sometime end of September, these will go up to probably like a couple $100 each of these $97 ones. There's the $3.99 and the $9.97s. Those are also like the Capital Passport. You learn Capital Passport, you could get one where you go and help set people up, and you connect them with lenders and all that stuff, and they can even pay you subscriptions or whatever. We basically, that helps us because we're able to get all the lenders in the system starting to get to know everybody. So like I said, we built this from the ground up. This started really with me and being a private money broker. I met a few people like Jesse, who's my other partner, besides Kevin, and then Paul's our CFO. Paul's one of my best friends, and he's in Denver. He's in the roofing business. I worked for him for 2 years as his GM, and you'll meet Paul eventually. But yeah, he's so like I said, this came out of that, and then we're trying to put a fund together. We're going to do this building called Blue Sky. So you've been in Denver, so you know where the 17th in California is downtown. We were going to build a 112-story building, and we had a lot of the stuff going for it. Kevin negotiated a pretty sweet thing that other partners didn't act on. They would have made, how much money would they made, Kevin, if they followed through?
Well, it was a $250,000 option, and it sold for $500,000.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
so
it was like a 30-day deal to get that done. Yeah, and that was it, basically.
And we had some partners that were kind of screwy. We had one partner who's a stunt skier in Aspen Development Company, Todd Profit. Like every James Bond movie from the 80s and 90s where James Bond was skiing, Todd Profit was him being the stunt double, and he was on our 112-story building.
He was the leader of Spectre. Wow. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot going on here, and there's more to it than just what he's talked about, because I think I personally identified 5 or 6 different profit centers with this thing. Aside from that, because you can generate reports for other people. You need to have a skip tracing done. Well, I think I might be able to do that for you. Oh, what's that? Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look too good. I think the profit probably going to have a better luck going this route, because that area is kind of messed up, or we have situations coming up that aren't going to be very good for you there. But, it is what it is. And I can send you the report if you really want it. Things like that. There's just a lot of things that you can do with this in and around real estate. Anything and everything that has anything to do with real estate is in here. If you're looking to broker private money, you're going to learn how to do it in here.
Yeah, you're not going to have to pay $2,500 like I did.
Yeah,
if you do a affiliate program, my first goal is to get everybody to $400, so everybody's $1 in the black. So I've got some things you guys can go out there and go in these wholesale groups. And you go in there and go in there, you're in the group, so you know how powerful it is. Somebody's in there who does skip tracing. You start talking about RCIC, and man, these guys, this does it. It's amazing. I can connect you, things like that. And going, who does this? Who does that? Just like how I met you. I try. It's harder for me because I've got RCIC all over my profile. Kevin and Jesse can actually do a little bit different because they're not as known. I mean, they're known inside our group, and outside the group they can be a little bit more flexible. You guys are in there. You guys are experiencing it. Oh my God, I just generated 1,000 foreclosures like Eric did, who's a little in our group. That's his Facebook name. But Eric generated 1,000 foreclosure leads. Then he took them to the tools, in the same order, kind of in the same order, because he's the one who told me about this. That's why I started structuring it. He took and put him through comps and MRA, market reality assessment. There's a video on YouTube you can watch about that where I show my grandparents' old house. It's pretty cool. We did this about 2 months ago. It's a pretty cool process. It'll also go through then we have scope of work and all that skip tracing. He did that. He took 1,000 in 12 minutes, got it down to 10 that met his buy box. And he went to then compared to the manual underwriting. And he determined that compared to the numbers that he does manually, compared to the numbers that RCIC came up, he was within 90, he was 97% accurate. And I would have taken like 90. I'm not even done like, hey, it's because then we could always build a variance and say, okay, this is how, because you've been probably enough Facebook groups now, real estate wise, where people didn't think AI was going to be accurate. And it is accurate when you spend time on your buy box. That's where you want to spend a lot, 30 minutes doing your buy box and being detailed, and don't push that prompt. Don't push that to send it until you've gone through it. Make sure it's, and you can change it all the time. What it suggested today is when I do this change tomorrow, I will actually be putting in, maybe putting in another conversation starter and changing it up a little bit, and being able to put like, buy box will also have update my buy box because it changes. And tonight, 2 o'clock in the morning, somebody could they're doing flicks and flips or something, and all of a sudden they need to go in and learn how to do a short-term rental because maybe that fix and flip is going to probably sit on the market. Well, why not do a short-term rental while it sits on the market? But they got to learn how to structure that. Or if they want to do something else. So this thing's give you the total flexibility. You don't need to ring me up at 2 o'clock in the morning. You can basically go to learning mode. You can go to the GPTs. You got the apps. You guys that have the lifetime plan, you're in those groups. These people that have the apps that are just buying apps will have that. They'll be able to just go and you guys are in the lifetime. You guys can just take get it whenever you want at your discretion. If you like it, cool.
And they don't, and they won't have everything like Nate's talking about. So guess who does? So they're going to get back with you, and guess who's going to be filling in the blank? It'll be you running the reports, not them. Yeah, see, and that's the key to this whole deal. And then, if that's not enough, take the biggest, baddest, most ridiculous kind of real estate deal that you'd ever think you'd ever want to do. Make it the first one you write up.
That is absolutely a goal.
Yeah, and
the whole reason why I'm bringing this up is number one, you get a real quick payday of maybe $1 million or $2 million, just flipping it to somebody else on a single day close. But at the same time, this system is going to say, oh, this guy is really, really going after it, so I need to just go ahead and really, really go after it.
And the other thing,
it's not going to know the small stuff because you're not going to be doing the small stuff forever. See. So this is all about training it and getting it into a position where you can expand quickly if you wanted to. And it goes for all forms of real estate.
And just like you saw me and how you probably met me and just saw here live right now, you can make all your visuals. You can make all your ads. You can do all your promotions.
Oh, yeah. This is what you wrap your reports in. This is your wrapper. This is what you see on the shelf when you're going into a store. And, oh, that looks pretty neat. Let me take one of those. That's what that does.
Get a Facebook app. Get a Facebook page for your business. It's business, and then have a similar one named in group, and it'll help you make everything. The banner, it'll help you make all the everything, and then make that, and then start whatever you really get good at. Go in there and promote this, and put the menu in there with your links, with your affiliate link, and go in there and just start bringing people in. And you'll start racking up side hustle money. And like I said, some of these apps, $9.97, you'll make $250. Roughly about $250 just off of getting someone into one of those programs. So you start picking up a little bit of money. Don't use it for personal. Use it then to pay your expense, your business expenses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to actually get a couple deals under my belt and then have the receipts, so that way when I'm starting these groups, because I have some groups I'm in that have hundreds of thousands of people in it, and if I'm able to, not only just help myself in this situation, but market it to people who could also use this system and change the entire face of the way that real estate is looked at, I think that would be such a lucrative thing both for you guys and myself. But most of all, I think it would just be good to help the people that are in these desperate situations in the first place find a way out while also being good for us in that sense.
I mean, the other good
which is
thing,
the most
All right,
important.
Nate, he's done.
Yeah.
He's seen it. He figured it out. He's done.
well, the other thing
That's
too is
exactly what we're
you talk about
really hoping
surplus and
that
overbid.
somebody would see this like this.
You talk about
That we've
surplus and
done our
overbid.
job. If somebody has seen what you've seen and says what you just said, because that's basically the message that we're trying to get across to everybody is just what you said.
Like I
Okay.
said, when you talk
So-
about the predictor, here's that thing: surplus and overbid. I knew nothing about surplus and overbid until September. Can I remember when I first started mentioning it back then? I'm like, holy crap!
Yeah.
I would have been doing this because it's super lucrative and people are entitled to that money. And so now we have a surplus.
Yep.
Like, Dennis, go get the surplus and overbid OS, and you want to help some people, and you can go make 10 to 40%. Now every state's different. Like in my state, you can't do it for 2.5 years after their foreclosure. But a lot of states you can do it right away. You can also help second and third lien position holders. They are entitled to that money. The state holds on to that money. It's their money. But the mortgage companies and all that are not required to tell them that. So if a lender goes and if it's $100,000 and they get $112,000, the lender doesn't get to keep that $12,000. It's supposed to go back to the people whose house got foreclosed on. That's their money.
And the same thing goes with tax sales too.
Yeah. And it kind of, there's some things with that, you can, that app will, you go get that app, it'll show you that. There's an operator guide. So like go get the apps before you add them to Netlify. Just keep in mind on Netlify, there's the free, that's most people get the free, then it's $9 a month for after 1,000 credits. $20 a month gets you over 1,000 credits. I'm only spending $20 a month and I'm using, you guys see how many as I have. I have, I think I went through 1,500 credits. So it's not really that much. So it's like you put 2 or 3 or 4 of those apps on Netlify. And Topic, the API, will only take out, like I said, small amounts per call. I don't think anybody, I think what it has constantly said that, and it says that in some of the operator guides, if you literally ran it 24/7 and it was constantly going to get calls, API calls on Anthropic, you'd only spend $100 for the entire month, 30 days and 24/7, just constant. You only spend $100. It's like how many people are charging $399 a month or $599 a month for leads? Like we have people in our group that have canceled PropStream and Deal Machine and Goliath, and we had a little run with Goliath starters a couple of years ago where they tried to jack a couple of our databases. So you see me sometimes somebody will post like Goliath and I'm going, I'm not. I'm at the point bad mouth them anymore because I think we're better, but then we weren't doing this a year ago. This thing has really just changed the game for us too. It's really made us more focused on like we can get more people on this. The more people that help. So if you are on here with somebody else and you guys on the same street doing the same exact thing, you really aren't even competing because your buy box might be different than theirs, and so different that you're both doing foreclosures in the same town. You're not even competing with each other, and you have more resources. And think about if we had those 42,430 foreclosure filings. Think about we had 5. I was trying to figure out how many it would take because we're never going to be able to cover everything, but we could literally wipe out a lot of these foreclosure filings before the PropStream clients and buyers, even have access to them. They're already off the table, not just not being worked, but you could go make an offer at 8:30. You can make an offer within an hour, 2 hours of that filing being public record, and you get all the information. Once you tweak it, you get everything. You get all the information. Then you can start just plugging it in. You get down to a sequence in your markets of when they release this data. Go after the low-hanging fruit while you're building up to go get the pre-foreclosures and the mortgage rates, because those are a little bit more difficult. They're doable. Go get the low-hanging fruit to build it and get your income cash flow going, and then you start on the stuff that's a little bit more difficult. Like I said, it's not that we've actually made it a lot easier, but there's still some things you have to finagle. It won't go through paywalls, things like that. I'm gonna take the recording off when I say this.